My people, it's about that time.
Like a boss.
Live from the USA, helping you get paid every day. This is the boss of Bitcoin, the Cristo of crypto. It's your boy BK. And if you don't like me, you must not like money. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Today we are doing a DogeCoin price analysis live on TradingView. We're going to show you what's going on with this chart, where the pattern is showing, how the fractals are forming, which I think will be very enlightening, and most importantly, how you can profit as a result. We will be answering the question, should you buy DogeCoin? So if this is your first time tuning in, congratulations, baby. You are now rocking with the best. My name is BK, also known as the Crypto Trader, and I'm the boss of these charts, as you will soon find out. Every day I grace this microphone with my voice is another day you get to profit as a result, and today is no exception. So if you haven't done it already, make sure you like this video and subscribe. I make a video every single day to try and help you guys learn how to make money in the markets. I've changed my life completely with this knowledge, and so now my goal is to give it on to the world free of charge and help as many people make as much money as possible. So without further ado, let's make it do what it do. Let's go ahead and make this money. Did I mention you could get some free Bitcoin by joining our community and watching these videos? All you need to do is shout out your city in the comments. We have a global community, and this is my way to give back to you guys and give a chance to interact with you. I respond to each and every comment. So shout your city out in the comments. Let me know where you're tuning in from in the world. Or if you want to just leave me a chart, you can do that too. Throw a chart up there. BK, can you chart? I think the last one I did was Ren. So whatever chart you guys want to see, or what city you're from, just show me some love in the comments, and we go do it like that. Here we go, baby. DOGE, Doge. You know, top 10 coin in the world. The world, Craig. The world. And you know, it's interesting with this coin. It's like it was a meme. It was a joke. It had no quote value, you know, until the world comes behind it and say, well, wait a minute. Yes, it does have value. Yes, we do like it. Yes, you know, we can build some utility behind it. It started off, you know, as kind of just, you know, an idea, you know, and it evolved into an economy. I think it's really, you know, in a synaptic view, really significant of what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is nothing more than an idea that was formulated in about 9 to 12 pages of paper, you know, disseminated in 2008, 2009. A bunch of engineering jargon thrown together with some computer software framework. That was the original concept, free of charge. So it's interesting just to see like how that comes together. If we're gonna look to do a technical analysis on this, we really want to isolate two critical points in the creation of this chart. That will be right here, and we'll call it right here. These are the breakout and breakdown lines for the respective cycles. You can do a Fibonacci between the two of those, and this is the chart's lifespan. Essentially, we capped out. Now, keep in mind, this was kind of like, most charts are not like this. Most charts I'm able to tie into something early on that predicates the next section of the chart. But this chart, I think this is the early on sequence, which means the growth rate for Doge is going to be up here somewhere. And so the next cycle that it enters, you'll be looking for Doge to probably do another 100x. To peak out somewhere north of that 3.2. It's already been up to this 3.2 area. So now the next sequence, I believe, should lead it up here somewhere, and it'll start a new cycle. We'll get into that in a second. But essentially, you have a situation to where right now we've basically rescinded into this green area, but I think it's more relevant. I really only think it's relevant to see those big lines when you're talking about like the growth rate and where the projections are. As long as we're north and let's see if we could pin something down. Yeah, I would say that 1.6. You know, it's funny. It's got yeah, no, we could do that. We got that, and then we got this one. Yeah, that's it. That's what I wanted. As long as we're above this 1.6 down here, Doge is gonna keep going higher. Like this is kind of like the breaking point, and you can see we tested it a little bit. And what's this price? Keep in mind we're measuring to Bitcoin. This is at 166. So as long as Doge is north of 160, this chart is going to want to continue to accumulate and move higher. Essentially, it's not broken. Once we break like 150, then we're essentially in a downtrend, and it has to recover. But that hasn't happened yet. The only thing that's happened is it's consolidated the energy that it's needed in between each wave. And you can start to see this. I talked about this in my last video, that basically cryptocurrency was like an ocean of material prosperity, and these new technologies were being built within this ocean, and you had different waves forming. But essentially you can see that right here in this chart. For example, let's do the triangles. Yeah, I haven't used triangles in a while. That's one cycle right there. That was basically our big cycle, right? And let's color that down just a tad, and we'll make it like orange, right? That was one cycle. This is another one. So that was one. And in my early days, I would try to find like the correlation between those triangles, but that's way too difficult to do now. So that's 1, 2, and then this is the little third triangle right there. And what these are forming are like fractals of the same expression. Essentially, it's like one wave converted into the next wave, converted into the next wave. And that's what I see a lot of times in these charts. It's like it's not necessarily the events happening around the world. It's really just the energy that needs to express itself and expand and contract within these charts that we can track, we can predicate, and then we can start to isolate for moments of major impact, right? Major expansion. Fractals, what are fractals? And I've seen this in other charts, but when I saw it on Doge, I was like, oh my goodness, that's just a fractal. It's like repeating the same pattern over and over again, and it's getting smaller along the way. So it's becoming infinitesimally small within itself. Fractals are geometric shapes or patterns that are infinitely complex and self-similar across different scales. They can be created by repeating a simple process over and over in a feedback loop, often exhibiting fractional dimensions and intricate details. And this is kind of the example they have over here, where essentially the simplest fractal is kind of like the framework of the matrix. The more you zoom in on any given area of the matrix, the more it becomes self-similar with the area you just zoomed out from. Cities are actually built like this. You know, if you scale out 8 blocks, you can literally start to see like building structures repeat themselves over time. Fractals, and it's also very applicable in nature, right? I've shown you the Fibonacci sequence, but I think what are fractals? There goes water. Water's always good. Fractals in nature, right? So we have the conch shell, which is, a very similar expression of kind of like that same pattern, just repeating itself over and over and over and over again, and getting smaller and smaller and smaller along the way. You have, plants that are essentially the exact same pattern going outwards, and each one that gets closer to that center, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller until it reaches the node of creation, to where a new entity comes into existence. It's beautiful. And the peacock has fractals in its feathers. And this is why the peacock is one of the most revered animals of ancient Egypt and the different civilizations, because the way it's built, it's like matrix math in peacock. Like, it's basically a sequence of numbers in the feathers. So it's like a math equation of symmetry right there in this animal, beautifully expressing itself. It's amazing. Like this is what, honestly, this is what kind of gets me excited, because I'm able to draw comparisons between what we're learning as a world together and what we already know as a people and as a society. And hopefully between the two of those intersections, we can learn to build more efficiently, operate more effectively. It's like everything, all ain't nothing new under the sun. We just learning how to do it in a new way, right? And I think that's the biggest contribution I think I'm going to be able to make, is comparing what we don't know to what we already do, right? DogeCoin is an amazing product. You got some great personalities supporting this product, a really empowered and enthusiastic community. And so this article talks about, can DogeCoin reach $1? Right now, the price, I believe, is at a little over a dime. So how can it 10x? That's what we just showed on this chart. Basically, by the time it gets up there, it's going to be $1. So that's what this article is talking about. How can Doge reach $1? And how long ago was it written? 3 days ago. In typical fashion, it has been an extremely volatile year for DogeCoin. While the crypto market overall has gained 20% in value, now worth $2 trillion, Doge is up just 5%, right? And keep in mind, this is exactly what I tell you guys. It is now a monetary gain scenario, like a literally money game scenario, to where your goal is to accumulate as much Bitcoin as fast as possible. If you only got $10,000 to put into the market, you need to put it on the coins that's paying you or have the highest probability of paying you per IOTA unit time as possible. That's in your best interest. So no longer can we invest with our heart and say, oh my God, I love this coin. I mean, you can, but just don't be upset when you can still love a coin and be broke. There's a lot of broke people holding them bags. Don't hold that bag. Don't take that loss. Let the market take that loss. We'll jump back in when the tide is settled. You see what I'm saying? And that's what it is. It says DogeCoin trades a gut-wrenching 86% off its peak price in 2021. Did I tell you that we have a methodology for you never to take that loss? It's called the boss method. It works on a daily chart. Essentially, when those two intersections happen, when that white goes above that blue, you know what to do. It's time to put your money down on the table and get paid, right? White above the blue, you know what to do. Jump on the money train because it's leaving the station, right? And so essentially right there, that would have been our buy indicator. And when it comes back below it, that's our sell. So this is DogeCoin gain. Now keep in mind, this was a very, very, very short time, but results are not typical. But you would have got 600% Bitcoin in 76 days. And you would have been out of the trade. The next time you probably would have been interested in that trade would have been right there. When it's free and clear, white above the blue, you know what to do. When it's underwater like that, I really don't like to jump in on these underwater divots, because essentially it's still sinking. It's just coming up for air before it sinks a little bit more. Coming up for air before it sinks a little bit more. Once that solid gray line comes all the way down, goes to sleep, and I've showed you this in multiple videos, and those three lines come together, that's called a genesis point. That's where lightning is created. That's where all the energy in the world aligns, and a new existence comes into creation. So essentially, that's the next cycle, right? It happens again. It hasn't even happened yet, so it's coming up, right? But we see this was kind of like our little underwater expression right here. So it's coming up. It's another genesis point coming up. It's just not happening right now. I think also I showed you that breakdown with those. We have the big candles running through it. That kind of gives you like the lower level of the macro channel, and that would be at 128. I definitely don't think Doge is probably ever going to drop that low again, only unless we have a major sell-off in the world and across crypto altogether. As long as it's north of that 160, which I showed you is this negative 1.6 right there, boom, boom, right? We need to be north of that green line. This thing is going to continue to accumulate and to continue to want to gain steam to move higher. If it breaks that line, then this chart is compromised and you have to account for that, and it's other factors at that point. But as long as Bitcoin increases its supremacy within financial markets, as long as there is no catastrophic financial event causing Wall Street to pull 20-30% of their money at any given time, as long as everything stays status quo, DogeCoin is going to continue to flatline and want to eventually create that genesis point to start a whole new cycle. When it does, that's when it could do that 100x, and that's when it has the potential to not only regain that 86%, but then outperform it by about another 50%. To make up for all of that dissipated energy. This is probably one of the best long-term trades you can enter, as long as this chart is sitting north of this line right here, right? Sitting north of that 160. It's a very good buy. It's just a matter of when the coin is going to hit. Now, there is a trade-off, as I mentioned, the time cost of money. Basically, every month you wait on those to break out, you could be making money somewhere else in the market. And this is what I teach more than anything on my channel is really how to diversify your involvement and your exposure and how to have time pay you. You only want to jump in a trade when it's warming up. So maybe as a more immediate warranted individual, you would probably put your money somewhere else. And then once DogeCoin does break, say 200, right? Once it gets above that second little wave up in there, yeah, I would say once Doge breaks around 215 is when you want to probably start jumping in on it, because that's when some money is coming back into the picture. Right now, it could literally trade sideways for another 6 months, and it wouldn't be a problem within the constraints of that chart. Like, that's completely fine, given this long-term consolidation dovetail flatline. The only thing that's doing now is Doge is just riding to sleep. This thing is just going, rocking the baby. You know what I'm saying? But once the baby wake up, that thing is going to want to run around. It's going to want to jump out the gym. And so that's what we see. But I think, you can catch this trade below, say, 250 Satoshis and still make that money on the way up. And you don't have to wait as long to see it come into fruition. And so there you go, everybody. That is DogeCoin. I think it's a great buy for the long term. If you want some immediate gains, there's a few better opportunities, but this thing is a top 10 coin, top of the fold, and it's going to make some major moves on its next breakout pattern, which could be as early as alt season 20, what is it? Alt season 25. I think January to April next year, you're going to see a lot of these charts turn around. If we have Bitcoin north of 80,000, a lot of these coins are going to start to get some money, and everything's going to go up. A rising tide will float all boats. So we got our SMS community. If you want to get some free trades and jump out like double dutch, learn how to swing trade like a boss, jump on over to bossofbitcoin.com, drop your phone number in that box up top, and I will invite you to our exclusive trading community. We do got a lot of people just learning the ropes. So again, if this is your first time dipping your toe in the water, come on in. The doors are always open. So with that being said, everybody, it's that time of the day. Signing out. Boss. Boy BK, no matter where you stay, Brazil to Bay, California, all the way back out through Germany. Good night, good morning, and good day. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your time. Hit that thumbs up button for a player one time. Do that for me if you appreciate mine. Till we meet again, stay cryptic, y'all. Peace.
Like a boss.
Huh?
Like a boss.